Good afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you tuned into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elsa McGee, your host, and I'm here doing the same thing we've been trying to do ever since we started the show. Make sense out of a sensitive situation called the plight of veterans in the USA, and the USA with the plight of veterans. I'm here today with one of my favorite peoples on planet Earth. This is amazing. We've been trying to get here for a while. We talking about the sons of Atlanta, but this is the daughter of Atlanta. This is one of the daughters of Atlanta, the first one. Now, baby.
Yes.
Hey,
the
sweetie.
one, not the two.
Yeah, and this is Misha Wright.
Yes.
Tell them about yourself, Misha. Just introduce yourself, baby.
Hello, Veterans Talk. I am Misha Wright, and like my father said, he is like a father to me. I am a Nam baby. My father is Joseph Wright, the Vietnam veteran, and him and Mr. McGee were like best friends. So
we were like brothers from another mother.
Definitely. So I've been in this fight since the early 2000s, if not before then. Staying focused on the plan and trying to come and bring the daughters of Atlanta with the sons of Atlanta, and seeing how we can all get together and make a change, because it's going to take us all to bridge that gap, because we all lost, so much. We all gave, the veterans gave, the kids gave, we all gave. So it's going to take us all to come together to make a change.
Absolutely. Now, this is why y'all see I've got Misha here. Misha, I knew Misha before she was born. She said me and her daddy was best friends. We was more than best friends. That was like a brother from another mother. I can remember him knocking on my door at 7 o'clock in the morning. If we had to do something, JD, I told him in the end of the evening, the next morning, he knocking on my door for it's time for us to go. Get up! Ready to go. I mean, Harlan talking about Jarhead. Listen, I ain't got nothing against them Marines, because they're something special. I think I'm a member of the most sacred and valued sorority in America, the veteran. And one of the things that I have looked at since I've been in the fight, and Joseph and I was in the fight together. I mean, really together. He was my vice president at one time, and then he was actually president of the group at one time. But that was when I got too sick to handle things. He actually took over and ran the organization. Nice. Like when I say a brother from another mother, we fought like brothers and we loved like brothers. He straightened me out in a minute and I straightened him out in a minute. Didn't mean nothing, because a lot of times we're gonna still do what we did, and because that was our era. But what we gonna talk about today is the daughters of the sons of Atlanta. What happened in Vietnam? It was like over 50-some years ago, and it's still resonating in the community today, because we are the seniors of the veteran community, meaning that there are a lot of young veterans under us, several generations, matter of fact, under us that came behind us, that's benefiting from some of the things that we demanded from our government. Post-traumatic stress disorder, never recognized before the it was after the Vietnam War in 1980 that we finally got the United States of America to recognize PTSD. Now it is the most diagnosed disability in the country, not just with veterans, but with caregivers, definitely, children, and a lot of people. So we still don't understand this PTSD yet. Misha was, and I say a victim of it, because I know her daddy, and I know how much he loved her, but what he struggled with.
Definitely.
What he struggled with from Vietnam to the day he died with the VA. And this is something that we cannot let slide by our generation. We have to be able to communicate it forward, because it now has only robbed us of our quality of life, it robbed our families and our communities of the benefits that we should have gotten right away. You know, and we talked about this, Misha, because you was grown before Joseph got service connected.
100% correct. So, for example, you know, I'm getting my second master's now, but I hope, you know, a lot of daughters and you know and sons of veterans know at that age 26, you know, you have to have all your paperwork in line because, right, I missed the boat. So I have student loans, you know, out of this world. But thank God now being a school teacher, you know, they have this new public service loan forgiveness. So hopefully mine will still be able to be forgiven under the teacher umbrella. But everybody, you know, is not a teacher. So those who are in education. And also, I wanted to mention as well, you know, that now I'm a special education teacher, a lot of students are being diagnosed with PTSD now. So, you know, that's even proof that, you know, it's been in our community, you know, because these kids haven't been on the front line fighting, but they are fighting in their own right, you know, and so, and we have to, you know, make a difference, you know, and definitely do more of this to see, you know, and try to come to, you know, get a solution to this problem.
And see, when we talk about the daughters of Sons of Atlanta, also I want to talk about something that Misha talked about, the educational benefits. Now, had Joseph been granted his benefits the way they was due from the date of discharge from the U.S. military, she would have had the benefits to go to school.
Definitely.
She was robbed of those benefits because of the VA. Just the VA, how the VA functioned in dealing with us especially as veterans of color. And I'm not going to, you know, I'm speaking truth to power, you know. So it was veterans of color, and it's being manifested the truth now because of the Yale University suit against VA for racial discrimination over the years. Now, what is that going to do? You know, well, the Biden administration has taken up this issue and tried to curb it by setting up a Department of Diversity and Equity in the VA. But that speaks to the discrimination that we suffered, and that you was denied your benefits because your father was disabled from the date of discharge. I'm telling you that because I was disabled from the date of discharge. We just didn't get the treatment that we were supposed to get. And the ugly part about it, we didn't know the benefits that we had earned. It took some time and some pain and some experience for us to get to that point. And then we became hawks. That's what I'm saying. We were brothers from another mother. We was crazy together. And then when we got to the point that we understood what we were dealing with, we was still together, and we fought this issue, and we raised this issue not only for ourselves but with other veterans. And this is important because these daughters, these families that suffered as a result of our military service, they should have reparation. I really believe that, you know, that there should be some kind of act on the part of our government to pay for these damages, for these losses, because it was not due to the veterans issue at all.
Correct.
It was not due to our issue. It was due to Congress' refusal to recognize PTSD as a disability. It was Congress' refusal to recognize Agent Orange as a ongoing killer of veterans and their children, because some of that stuff we are transmitting genetically. And we need to do that, and that's why I'm so glad you are here to be a part of this fight, because you know it personally. You know the PTSD that your daddy suffered, you was a witness to it. You know, right. And you not just a victim of it, you was a witness to it. And we don't want that knowledge to go wasted, because every year at graduation time in our community, we got young people going into the military right now, today. Just as ignorant and naive as I was and your daddy was when we went in. we was being drafted, but you know, it's all volunteer service now. But the discharge rate, Tracy, is higher than any discharge rate during the Vietnam War. You know, because they changed the laws to the point that a young person can go to command and say, hey man, I'm fed up with this. I ain't dealing with this no more. They say, okay, well, you can go home.
Just like that.
With a bad discharge. With a bad discharge. We got a lot of young people, and I'm curious why we're doing this suicide stuff to see how many of these young people had bad discharges. Because they were suffering from what is widely known as an adjustment disorder. Not PTSD, but an adjustment disorder. What is an adjustment disorder? It is a mental disorder that inhibits your transmission from one, say, part of life to another one, from military life back into civilian life.
Okay.
We know that they do well. Tony say they do well with preparing us to go into the military, but they don't do anything to help us prepare to come transition back into society. And then now are they informing us of the chemicals that we're being exposed to that we can transmit to our children and that we might eventually die from, because it's still today. And understanding Agent Orange and looking at Camp Lejeune. Camp Lejeune was another issue that right now, and we're looking to see whether Joseph was at Camp Lejeune, because see, if he was, that is a tort claim that has been approved by the Department of Defense for veterans and families members that served at Camp Lejeune that come up with one of these diagnoses that they recognize as caused as America, and this tort claim is over $14 billion, and it's due for not just military but any personnel that served at Camp Lejeune, and we want to make sure that our community know about these funds and see whether they are qualified to get some of these funds because they serve and they're suffering from these conditions. So it's important today, Misha, that you are here to be a witness again to what he would have witnessed to fighting for the rights of our hometown.
Yes.
Yes, fighting for the rights of our people, the communities that we come from. And it's important that you know this because we got a serious issue in the country right now. We got a party. We got a two-party system. But we got one of the parties has come up under the influence, and I'm going to say this because I'm a Christian pastor, preacher. I'm a retired pastor, so I ain't that. But you know, seminary trained, I'm a trained minister, and I believe in the word. The spirit of the Antichrist is among us. And that spirit is in high places, and that controlling the rest of us. There's a party, the Republican Party, and I'm going to say the Republican Party, are full of lies and deception, untruths. The Bible tells me that a liar is the child of the devil. That's an evil spirit. And we see that evil spirit working our population in ways that we never seen it done before. Veterans have to stand up. Veteran families have to stand up. We have to recognize that this is a challenge to the very democracy that we serve for. We serve for a certain kind of government. We pledge allegiance to the flag, but the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, that means that we are a country of laws. No one person is above the law. We see that there is one person above the law. And it's not just the Republicans that's pushing this, it's the Democrats that's not enforcing it.
That part.
So this is something that veterans gonna have to be that entity, that catalyst, that speak out. First, we need to come together and recognize that what we serve for is being threatened. All of those 58,000 of my peers that were killed in Vietnam for this country, life is about to be rendered in vain. Their sacrifice in vain. Because if this spirit takes over in 2024, which is the plan, they got planned now, there would no longer be a democracy in this country. You would no longer have the basic rights to the courts. You know, we look at what just happened in Israel. Mm-hmm. You know, the government notified the Supreme Court, meaning that whatever the government decides, there's no entity above it, and the people have been rendered unable to change that predicament. We cannot allow that to happen in these United States because we have given too much. You said that earlier, Misha. We have given too much. We have sacrificed too much. We have come too far to be deprived of this opportunity. And I'm going to say this. What causing these people to be afraid is not just people of color, but people of color that got the capacity to generate billions of dollars. That's cutting into the 2% who control 90% of the wealth in this country. They don't like the idea that entertainment and sports, right? You know, you heard somebody tell LeBron, because he had an opinion, it didn't matter, you just go dribble the ball. Not right. But he's a billionaire. Right. He building schools in his community. Yes, yes. So you see, they don't want that. This is the fear that they have. So they're manipulating the situation so that they can stop that. If they change the government, they're gonna change the currency. If they listen to me, I don't want y'all to follow me now. If they change the government, they gonna change the currency. They're gonna make those without the new currency broke. They don't even see it coming. They too busy being caught up in what they're doing to recognize it's time to unify in our communities. It's time for us to stand up for this democracy that we have given so much to. We know it wasn't perfect, but we was moving in that direction. Ever since July the 26th, 1948, when President Truman desegregated the military, it has been a steady course of progression for black people. A steady course of progression. You didn't have no billionaires when they signed the Emancipation Proclamation. There were no billionaires in our community. It was slaves. But look at it now. We got a lot of billionaires. Some of them ain't got no sense, but you know, we got them. So that showed that the threat, that what people think that they're afraid of, they're not just afraid of you because of the color of your skin. They're afraid of the opportunities you got to get your rightful share of the American pie. It's enough for all of us, but the way they got it set up, we got homeless folks in America. That don't make no sense. Right now, we got more empty buildings in the city of Atlanta than we got homeless people. All they got to do is put, just open up a building and put them all in there. Right. Overnight, they could cure that problem. But they would rather do it this way because it's to their advantage, to divide and conquer. There is a serious issue with dividing and conquering us. We got to remember this. Our democracy depends on one thing. The strength of our democracy is only as strong as our commitment to it. It's only as strong as our commitment to it. Imagine this. Today, there are more prisoners than there are prison keepers. If the prisoners woke up and say, I don't recognize this law no more, I'm gone, they could take over the prison system. They can't hold them. That's the kind of chaos that these people, this spirit of division is creating. Because I feel like this. I couldn't vote because I had a criminal conviction, a felony conviction, right? How can you run for office if you're a felon with a felony conviction? They should have done shut that attitude down already. If you get convicted of a felony, you can't run for no office.
Right.
Because I was convicted of a felony, I couldn't even vote.
So how you gonna run for office?
How you gonna run for office? The hypocrisy is becoming so obvious. We know that they don't care. They don't care that we see it. What they think is that we don't have the capacity to respond to it in a way that can stop them, but we do. We do. We do have that capacity because we are more than conquerors. We got to remember that. We are more than conquerors. And we take that faith to fight every day. We bringing this information to you because we are veterans, talking to veterans and the community about all things veterans. Right now, the most important thing to veterans should be looking at these elections that's coming up in November 2023. They're local elections. You know, Georgia General Assemblies, City Council, county commissioners, the people that make the decisions that directly impact our lives. Not the federal government, but the local government. Brian Kemp got a law where he got every little boy on the street with a gun hanging out his pocket. And the police can't stop him. Can't even question him. We having shootouts in our community. This is like a war zone. And we feel like we can't do nothing about it. You know, they got us scared to go to the store. They got us scared to go to church. They got us scared to send our children to school. You know, listen, I didn't have nothing about no active shooter drill. Y'all
Right.
training for active shooter drill.
Yes, we are.
You know, this is not some.
So look, it's so deep now. The county, I don't know about all counties, but I work in Gwinnett. That we implemented now. We have a card thing to where now you can just press a button. You press it 8 times. SWAT team, county, everybody coming. So that way, no matter where you are in the building, they can reach you. You see what I'm saying? So this is something that they implemented for, in which Gwinnett is the biggest school
But see,
district
you
in
know,
Georgia.
I looked at one of them things that was in Texas, right? The police was in the building, but they didn't stop the shooter.
That part. So
See,
we're not even dealing with the issue that I feel like, you know, that really needs to be targeted.
See, and this is when they're not talking to us. They're not talking to teachers. Well, they're instructing teachers what they're going to do.
Right. Yeah, they just giving us this and then telling us we have to take it home. We have to keep it on us. So I'm like, really, what is this? Why am I not going to leave this at school if this is something that's school related? Why I need to take this home? But what we have to is, I don't understand that.
Well, this is what happens when a democracy is being taken over by an autocracy. You know, by a dictatorship. The dictator dictates everything. And Mao Tse-tung said this, who was the president of South Vietnam. He said, he who controls the purse string controls everything. So we have to look at where all of this is coming from. It's coming from the billionaires. Look at number 45, the one that's over the law. When he went to office, he took 6 billionaires in his cabinet. Come on now. You ain't never seen no billionaires in government like that, except in autocracies. And why did those 6 billionaires come to government with him? To privatize the resources of government. You hear what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you a perfect example. The VA exam system. It's a multi-million-dollar check because every veteran that filed for a claim has to go through this system. Tracy just went through one. You know, these systems are now controlled by businesses. And I'm looking at the result of some of the claims that's coming out of them, and they base more on opinions of the examiner than the facts of record. We got to go to the poll like we never been to the poll before. We got to go vote like is the last time we'll ever be able to vote. because it might be. It very well could be. Because if you look at what they are doing with states, governments, and the abortion issue highlights it all. You know, you got all these states that once they overturn Roe versus Wade, they start having restricted abortion laws that even got doctors scared to do medicine. They didn't move it clean away from a medical issue to a political issue. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm against abortion. I'm gonna just say that straight up. But I can't have no baby. God didn't give me that power. That was a power that He only gave to females. And I think this way. I'm just simple. The decision about what you do with your body is between you and God and your doctor. And when they start taking that right away from you, then they'll land the basis to take other rights away from you and me. Mm-hmm. So if I sit quietly by and watch them take your constitutional right away from you and just say, oh, well, I'm not for abortion anyway.
Right.
Like I can have a baby. You know, what I got to do is look at the substance of the issue. The real substance of the issue when we're talking about that is what are these people doing with your rights? And not only, you look at this whole abortion movement, is that they are criminalizing doctors. You can't leave the state and go to another state and get it. They you know, this is too much. And if any man, especially a veteran, don't go to the poll and vote these people out of office, they gonna be in same situation. Like Angela Davis said, if you don't protest when they come for me, when they come for you, ain't gonna be nobody there to protest. Mm. You know, we got to realize that this movement with autocracy is not just in America. It's all over the globe. You know, you got China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia, the biggest, most powerful autocracies on the planet Earth. And they're being squeezed out by NATO. They're being squeezed out. So something is going to happen with that squeeze out. They're not just going to be squeezed out because they need the resources to stay in power. They need the resources of all these countries to stay in power. If they see, this international trade is the way we live, and they control it, the billionaires, so they can stop it when they want to or start it when they want to. Mm. Look at the strike in California, the movie makers. When this is over, everything in the movie is gonna go up. Everything in the movie industry gonna go up, because they're gonna make some concessions, but they're gonna pass it right on to the customer. We don't need them kind of people in control of our economies. They don't pay taxes like the rest of us because they got lawyers that are smart enough to get around where Donald Trump is paying $700 in taxes, and they see where he done generated $14 million. Come on now, you pay more in taxes than that. We got to start making sense out of this situation so that we can understand why the plight of veterans is so grisly right now. When I say grisly, over 250,000 homeless in this country every given day. 17 to 22 are committing suicide. We don't know how many are dying in the VA hospitals for the lack of proper care. But the families know. The families that's going through it know. They know what's going on, but they don't have any voice against it. But this is the voice. Veterans Talk. This is where we do it. This is bottom line. We are representing the community like we represent the community in the military. We're gonna serve like that. And we're gonna bring on knowledge with this Sons of Atlanta Vietnam War Memorial that the city of Atlanta is about to set up in Piedmont Park. Well, we're gonna start a brickathon on November the 10th. And what we'll be doing in the Brickathon, we got 12,000 slots of bricks that we can sell that you can have your name engraved on a brick and put it in Piedmont Park, which will be there as long as the memorial is there.
Nice.
So the bricks start at $100 and go up to $1,000 depending on how much you want to save. And you can go do that right now, actually, on sonsofatlanta.org, sonsofatlanta.org. You can go there and look at the pictures. And I want you to look at the pictures of these young men. Most of them didn't live to be 21. And at the time that we were serving, you couldn't vote until you was 21 years old.
Wow.
So these young men died for this democracy, and they had never voted for it, never had that opportunity. So we can't let that sacrifice be in vain. We can't. We have to make sure that what they gave their lives for, we got, and we're going to keep it. And we're going to grow it the way it's been growing. If you look at the U.S. military, it was white before 1948. And it was powerful, but it took a licking. It took such a licking in World War II. That's why they had to integrate it. Nobody wanted to go in it. So now, you look at it, it looks like the nation. All peoples of color. And you know what? They get along better than any other part of the society.
Why do you think that is?
Because they learn that we are all human, one.
Okay.
We're all one. And that we all want the same thing. The color of our skin don't separate us from our place in this society. And that's what it should be. That's what the founders wanted to make it be. And we got to remember that. The founders of that wrote this Constitution had a good idea of how this Constitution could grow, because when they wrote it, we were not even considered fully human. But there was a way in that Constitution that they could change it to make us citizens. And we took that citizenship and got a president. Got a president. And the Congress. Look at the Congress. Look at the offices throughout this country. A mix. Everybody got some part in the government. Every community, every race that want to participate can participate. And as they do that, their economy grows. Their economy grows. Like we talked about the black community. Look how many billionaires we've created. Well, we're not the only color that created billionaires. The Hispanics have created billionaires. Look at it, look at it. I mean, all these different races have had this equal opportunity. And what they did with the opportunity is amazing. But most people want to make us think that it's not, that it's just mediocre. But no group of people have come so far in such a short a time as we have in this country. And that's because of what the U.S. military gave us the opportunity to step it up. And we're going to make sure that everybody in our community know how to step it up with the sacrifices of their loved ones. You know, when we start talking about now, baby, we gonna do some amazing stuff, because we're gonna create a manufacturing company.
Definitely.
That makes short change gear.
Yes.
So we have to look at what we need. We need to create our own economic base. And if every group created its own economic base, there would be no lack. Crime would go down. Violence would disappear. And we got to realize that that's the way to move and grow a more perfect union. We got to do some paying of the bills right now. Always looking at people in the community. The way we do it, we are a nonprofit. We look for donations and sponsors. Sponsors meaning that we can actually do your commercial on our show and help you with getting your product out. So what we want to do right now is want to go to our one of our sponsors. This sponsor is a lady of DIC, a veteran. That this is her company, responding to a product that we got razor bumps product that we got that actually was made for black people by black people, right? You know, so it's a product that works, and we want you to look at this commercial for a minute.
Tired of skincare products that don't work? Looking for a natural treatment for razor bumps, dark spots, pimples, and eczema? With Corrective Skincare, discover the quick and easy way to eliminate your skin problems. Visit our skincare center for a consultation or shop online at correctiveskincare.net.
Yes. Now that's what I'm talking about. Business is one of the things that we got to do in the community, and we got to support those businesses that support us. So if you want to do support sponsorship, you know, just call us. You can call me directly, 678-887-2650, and let's talk about it. Or you can call the station. We are here every Saturday afternoon. Misha gonna be coming back with us on a regular basis, because she gonna help us rally these daughters of the sons of Atlanta.
Yes,
you know, because they need to understand. We need to stop this hemorrhages of benefits being lost in our community now, and find ways to make some kind of reparation, because they shouldn't have been lost in the first place. Had the VA stepped up in 1969 when I first went to the VA, and gave me the justice that I deserved, I probably wouldn't have spent 20 years in prison. I probably wouldn't have been on drugs. I probably would have been a citizen. I've shown them that I have the capacity to do it before Vietnam and after it. But I only did it when I got the help that I needed from that. But that still didn't cure the fact that my children grew up without the benefits. You know, they couldn't go to school because I wasn't service connected. You know, so we can't keep seeing this happen generation after generation and don't say nothing about it. We got to make sure. Listen, right now, me and Tracy was talking today, and we need some investors too, to buy some of these properties and renovate them so that we can afford affordable housing. We need some hard money loaners. We need some mortgage lenders, people that's going to help veterans get into affordable housing, not the $200,000 and $300,000 houses that they want to stick us into because they know they're going to foreclose on us for long, because we can't do the note. We got to get some affordable housing. Like what Tracy is doing, the average person will be only paying $800 a month out of their income for housing. Now that is amazing. Thinking about right now, my mortgage is $1,800 a month.
I feel you.
You know that's crazy, but you know that's what it takes to live. You know,
Definitely.
And you know, and we gotta stop letting this happen. I bought my first house in 1966 in Adamsville. It was a 3-bedroom brick frame ranch stamp house for $13,800.
Yeah, right.
Today, that same house is on the market right now for $215,000. They ain't put another brick there. They ain't took another brick off of it. They ain't did nothing to the yards. They talking about inflation. That's inflation.
That's how you build wealth.
That's how you build wealth.
Definitely.
But see, the problem was I didn't have something enough to keep it.
We need to be on the other end of the.
I need to be on the other end. But why wasn't I on the other end? I was returning wounded. I came back wounded. It took them 16 calendar years to recognize that I was wounded, even though it was in the records. It was documented. It wasn't like it wasn't documented. They just didn't respect it. It didn't have no value in terms of what they looked at. And it took a while. And my generation of veterans fighting for this to make it happen, to bring it into being. And that's why we are still here fighting, bringing knowledge to the table, because these benefits are magic. They come like the first of the month, every month, once you get them. And they help you from being homeless. They give you the capacity to take care of your family, you know, and live in this economy in a decent way. Yeah, in a decent way, getting your opportunity to thrive rather than struggling all the time. And we need to make sure that every generation getting these benefits, because they're there. They're allocating the money every year. The VA this year was over $103 million. That's just the VA. No, excuse me, $303 million. Billion dollars. I'm talking about $3 billion. That's just the VA. Now that's the third largest budget in the federal government. The first largest budget is the U.S. military. But why are the personnel having problems with paying for housing?
Right.
All that money is going for hardware and to business.
For who business? For what business, though?
Those that build the wall machines, those that build the wall stuff.
Wow.
Look at how many $1 billion we done gave to Ukraine.
That's ridiculous, right?
Billions.
Billions.
Just like that. Just shifted off like that. But we can't put that money into our community to take care of our people.
Right.
We got the wrong people and running our governments. That's what we got to look at. We got the wrong people running our governments. We got to take ownership for our governments. We have to stand up and say, enough is enough. We're going to do it the way it's supposed to be done. And I think that the only veteran community can start this conversation. Then we got our young people, our daughters, our sons, that can carry the conversation to work in terms of taking advantage of these opportunities and making sure that we got manufacturing jobs in our community that pay a livable wage. Right now, the average person in my community working at a fast food place don't make enough money to pay a rent. Especially if they got child care, if they got any other bill. Now think about it, you want to have a car, you want to have a house, you got to have grocery money, you got to have bill money, gas money. That don't come out of $15 an hour, don't get it. No. You don't get it. That's only $33,000 a year. That don't get it in this economy. We got to create businesses that pay people livable wages. And we can do it. It just means that the business owner can't be greedy. You can take a lesser profit. You know, right now, the owner of Walmart could pay everybody a livable wage and it wouldn't hurt him at all. But he won't do it. He'd rather shoot rockets in the sky rather than pay the people that are making him the billions a livable wage. We got the wrong people running our governments because these people that got making all this money, they pay less taxes than the farmers, the school teachers, the people that actually do the work in our communities every day. Something is wrong with that picture, and we need to keep talking about it. We need to keep trying to do something about it, because if we all came together on one accord, we can change this stuff. It's because we have allowed the forces to separate us, to keep us in skimmage mode. You can't work together when you're in skimmage mode. You're skimmaging. You know, you can't see no value in working with your neighbor. You can't see no value in working with them because you're skimmaging. What you skimmaging over? Well, I don't like that tree that's hanging in my yard. You know, you need to keep your grass cut. You know, I don't want you in there. You got too many the noise in the. You know, Rick Ross showed us what to do sometimes.
Yes, he did.
You know, and I ain't talked to him, and I don't know him, but I like the way he stood up and showed the people in the community, listen, you got stuff happening all the time in this community. I'm going to do my thing. And then I'm going to take care of people in the community. That's what I do.
Right.
You know, rather than fighting that, they should be unified around that.
Embracing it, getting more of it.
Getting
them some property, putting them some cattle on there. You know,
so that we can change the dynamic.
We can all come up.
We can all come up. But that's what's scaring them. So that's what causing them to keep us separated. They working us like puppets on the string because the billionaires in charge, and they can. The gas is. Let me tell you something. Less than 3 weeks ago, I was paying $3.19 for gas. The day it come, I see it $3.79. That don't make no sense. You know, but what they doing, they got all these supplies. but they letting these people that got big money be greedy. Brian Kemp took the taxes off of it for a minute, but now he done put the taxes back on gas. So why should they have to pay taxes when they're paying that kind of price for gas? You know, but what they trying to do now is stop the change over from gas to natural gas and to electricity. But that's going to be costly, too costly for the average person. You know, so we are in a transition that makes sense, but it don't make sense because it's above the average working person's capacity, income. And we got to think about it, and we got to do something about it. So we're asking you again today, like we want to look at PAC Act again. The PAC Act is meant to get new peoples in the system. Those people that have been in the system and trying to get increases are coming back pretty sad because they're using the cheat stick, I call it, the combined rating system. In other words, you know, I got people that getting the hypertension rating 10%, but they don't get no increase in their income because they combined it with the other disability rates they already got. We need to learn these tricks and stuff that they doing to us and stop them. Because if we don't stop them, who will? You know, they're going to keep us lacking. They're going to keep us giving us less than we deserve. Because why? We go vote like they want us to vote. We need to make sense out of with this vote this year. Don't wait to 2024 to vote. Focus on these local elections that's coming up. Well, they didn't start coming up already, but they'll be up until November. These local elections, watch them. And a lot of these little cases, you have an election, they don't even want you to know about it. They tell you about 2 or 3 days before the election.
Right, them
you know. So say, wait a minute, I didn't know there was no election going on. They got people that ran for office, and you know they done got candidates and everything. So you got to vote for what's there. I write in. You know, I'll write in a minute. You know, I know the write-in ain't gonna matter, but I want to let them know you can't get my vote because you want to. I waste it on what I believe rather than giving it to somebody that I think don't deserve it. We got to give our vote some sense. We got to make what we do have an impact on the issues that we are concerned with. On the 5th of September, we'll be having a Prevent Suicide symposium at Club E. This is the first symposium. There's going to be 3 months of symposiums going on to help families deal with the suicide issues, the mental issues that are coming in our community and our families. You know, people just don't jump up and commit suicide. There are signs, things that you can watch in the family, and usually the family is the first one can see it. You know, they see the drug addiction, they see the acting out and the not being able to go to work because they're strung out on drugs. The hotline ain't gonna work until the family know how to use it. And use it. You know, a lot of, I mean, I done had people tell, they call the police on me. I'm not gonna do that. They call the police on you because you need the police call on you. You know, somebody need to stop you before you kill yourself.
Yes.
You know, before you kill yourself, because that's what's happening to a lot of veterans with PTSD and adjustment disorders. They are killing themselves with alcohol and drugs, first of all. They just start drinking and drugging to the point where the family see that. Why is this person doing all that when I know they are really a responsible individual? Well, go ahead, baby.
Sorry, what is the statistic now? I know about 2014, I want to say around the time my father passed, it was like 22 every
day.
Every day. So is that still the same?
Well, the VA saying they done took it down to 17 a day now.
Oh,
but
so
there's still 17. There's still 17 families that are going through this. They're being traumatized with their loved ones, watching them and not knowing what to do.
Okay.
You know, not being educated to the point that all you got to do is call the VA and then call the police and tell them what you're dealing with before they kill them. Because that conduct that comes from, well, we just look at PTSD is a bad behavior disorder. Let's put it like that. It caused bad behavior, you know.
Correct.
So we need to just understand that. I wished I could have told my mom that when I was going through my PTSD. But how can the patient diagnose herself?
Right.
That was what the VA was supposed to do. It was a matter of record what I had gone through. You know, but they just, we dressing nice. Well, I dressed nice before I got like that, so what gonna make me stop dressing nice because I got PTSD? Matter of fact, I might be a little bit more flamboyant because I got PTSD.
Definitely.
Because I'm gonna be stealing money, I'm gonna be making money that I normally would make on a job because I didn't become an outlaw to the system that I served for. Why did I become an outlaw to the system? Because the system became an outlaw to me. They
owed you.
They neglected me when they could have responded to me. My mom making me go to the VA. They could have responded to that. No, well, you look all right. You ain't cutting up. And I'm going out there trying to make sure they don't see us cutting up too. I don't want them to say something wrong with me because I done told my mom ain't nothing wrong with me. I couldn't see what was wrong with me. They knew something was wrong because I was not doing the same things that I normally did. I was not an outlaw, but I was an outlaw and I covered it up. But I thought I was covering it up, but you can't never cover up bad behavior. It's gonna show up and you're gonna have a problem with it. So, but we are here at the end of the show this week. We're about to come down. And Misha's going to be back next week and all the weeks coming. And she's going to be bringing information like what she started off bringing today, especially talking about the benefits in education to help some of our daughters and sons that didn't get the fatherly benefits that they deserve, that's going through it now, that we can probably work a program to help them get it now. Get it now. So that's going to be our way of doing it. Yeah. So we want to thank you, Misha, for being here today, and we look forward to making it work.
Definitely. It's only the beginning, and I'm a Grady baby. Shout out to all my Georgia girls and boys, sons of Atlanta, daughters of, veterans. Let's get this. We all have to come together and make it happen. We can't fix the past, but we can correct our future. Yes,
and we're going to do it. We're going to do it because that's what we do. We're gonna work it every Saturday, and we're coming up with this clothing line too. You can be looking. Oh, wait a minute. Who is this here? Hello. 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 Oh, somebody's wrong.
We're gonna get that together too.
Yeah, we're gonna get that together. So they shouldn't be calling in at 4:58. No way. We only got 2 minutes left, but. We'll be back today. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. And if you want to watch the show, tell everybody to watch the show, go to your Facebook browser, type in Lyve TV, or go to Status Network and type in Status Network Lyve TV, and scroll down to Veterans Talk. If you missed the show today, you can always go to your Facebook browser, Lyve TV, and watch reruns. And I'm saying watch the rerun because every show is like this show. We're giving out information. We want you to know about the rights and benefits of veterans, about the plight of veterans, and what we're working on to change the plight of veterans. So we're working with Fulton County Veteran Empowerment Commission. We're going to be looking at those people that got the money this year and see what they're doing in the community with it. So next week, we're going to be talking about that program and talking with some people about what is the money going. Where's the money? We're going to follow the money trail because we need to. We need to get the pimps out of the store. We got to go. Next week.